My microphone says it's permanently on. Now I can hear myself, so it sounds even more permanently on now than it did before. Thank you all very much for being here, especially late in the day. Those of you who've come from a distance and have jet lag, I know that it's about this time of day that it's pretty easy to be feeling a little droopy. I'm really pleased with the panel that we have here in this session focusing on Indonesia. Indonesia is one of the countries in the world that I have spent the most time working and visiting. I've been to Indonesia, I think, more than 20 times. And I've known Syamsul Arifin for a long time, and also Ms. Harniati. And we're in for a really interesting and educational panel this afternoon. Syamsul Arifin is going to speak first, and he and I have been partners working on a project on Sharia and human rights, Islamic law and human rights in Indonesia at his university, Muhammadiyah University, which is the leading university of a very major Islamic movement in Indonesia with, I think, more than 50 million adherents in Muhammadiyah. Is it 50, 60? About 50? About 50. Around 50 million adherents. Yeah.
Yes.
And how many universities does Muhammadiyah have?
172.
So imagine that, 172 universities. It's an Islamic movement, of course, but some of the universities have majority Christian students because there are a few places in Indonesia where there are concentrations of Christians, and Muhammadiyah is really known in Indonesia as being a modernist movement, but also being one that is deeply committed to education and to health. And so those are two of the hallmarks of the Muhammadiyah movement. So Syamsul, why don't we give the floor to you? Thanks.
Actually, I'm quite nervous. It's like the dissertation examination.
Usually you're giving those examinations, so your job is to make people nervous and not to feel nervous.
Okay. Okay, thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. And I want to say hello to some students at BYU who are studying Indonesian language. Hello, apa kabar? Okay, first of all, I would like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude because for the second time I see LRS at BYU and Professor Brett inviting me for the second time. For the first time, I came here at 2012, and it is the second time for me. And I hope this visiting is not last. Yes.
Every 12 years.
Yes. So I always
Just
waiting
kidding.
for your invitation. Yeah. Because actually, as Professor Brett said, actually between Muhammadiyah and LDS, especially between Brigham University and University of Malang, is one the higher education belong to Muhammadiyah. Professor Brett already confirmed about the number of the Muhammadiyah higher education belong to Muhammadiyah. It's about 172 around Indonesia, including in East Indonesia. I think for the Muhammadiyah higher education in East Indonesia is very very unique because the majority is not a Muslim, is come from Christian. So according to the research, there is the new variant in Muhammadiyah, that is Chris Muha. Do you know Chris Muha? Christian Muhammadiyah. Yeah. Why? Because actually they are Christian, but they are studying in Muhammadiyah. So I think all of Muhammadiyah higher education in East Java, mostly the student is from Christian. And Muhammadiyah, also University Muhammadiyah Malang, has maybe similarity mission if compared to LDS. One of the mission is how to protect, how to develop about the humanity. Okay, my time is very short. My boss, Brad Scharffs, give me a time only 15. If I use more than 15, the umpire will give me a red card. Go out. Okay. Okay, my presentation is about the religious moderation and peace. Actually, I taken from my research, and actually I sent my people to Elizabeth Clark. The pages maybe about more than 40 pages, one speech. I'm very serious to prepare this symposium. But I want to highlight my people. So that's why in the subtitle I wrote here, a study of the dimension of leadership and ideology in strengthening and institutionalizing religious moderation in Muhammadiyah, or representation of moderate Islam in Indonesia. One again, I want to emphasize that a lot of Islamic organizations in Indonesia, one of them is Muhammadiyah. Muhammadiyah, at least according to me, is a representation of the Islamic moderate in Indonesia. I think I don't need to explain more what the meaning about the moderate moderate Muslim. Generally, moderate is between right and between left, in between, in the middle. Wasatiyah, if I use the Arabic term in the Quran. Okay, the content of my presentation is, firstly, is about the religious moderation, and the second is Muhammadiyah as representation of moderate Islam in Indonesia. And the third, I would like to share to you, as Professor Scharffs mentioned, that actually we have the good collaboration between University of Muhammadiyah Malang and ICRS, BYU, in organizing the master level course on Sharia and human rights more than 10 years. Yeah. I will present later, maybe in the last of my presentation. Okay, it's the background. Why I interested to write and to present about the religious moderation? Because moderation, especially in the context of religion or religious moderation, has developed not only into a mainstream of religious thought, including among Indonesian Muslim, but is even one of the government strategic policies listed in the 2020 and 2024. And the Ministry of Religion of Mora, as the technical ministry in charge of religious life, among them is managing Indonesian society, which is known for its diversity, has published several documents related to religious moderation, especially the book in Bahasa, Moderasi Beragama, Religious Moderation. In addition to the pocket book, in Bahasa Tanya Jawab Moderasi Beragama, question and answer on religious moderation, and Peta Jalan Penguatan Moderasi Beragama, 2020 and 2024, the roadmap of strengthening religious moderation 2020 and 2024. I think you can Googling about that book in PDF version. Okay, why religious moderation is important in Indonesia? Because Indonesia, like the society in the world, is a pluralistic society. In the context of the diversity of Indonesian society, religious moderation is intent to respect diversity, finding common ground, not solving the differences. As an example of common ground between religion, each religion has commitment to human dignity. I want to show the model that make it by maybe some of you know well about this concept, transcendent unity of religion. Make it by the Bishop Sean. I think it's the philosopher from Swiss. He divided religion into two aspects, and the below is the exoteric domain. There is a lot of the difference between Hinduism, for example, Buddhism, for example, the Chinese tradition, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. For example, like the worship place, the Christian going to church, but I'm a Muslim going to the mosque. Pilgrim to Mecca, maybe for the Jews, for the Christian, pilgrim to Israel, for example. I think it's the esoteric domain. And also, we have different about the Holy Book. We have the Quran as Muslim, you have the Bible, and also for the LDS, you have the Mormon book, yeah. Actually, I have, even in Indonesian version, but until I didn't understand about the content. Maybe I want to learn more to brush up about the Mormon. But in esoteric domain, actually, we have the common ground. We have the common denominator, because we are going to ultimate reality. That is God, whatever we call the God. For example, like me as a Muslim, I call my God Allah. For Christian, maybe Allah. I don't know, whatever we mention, we call, but we are going to ultimate reality. That is the esoteric domain. It is about actually we have the common ground, even though in the exoteric aspect we have the some different, but I think is formal. I think is the esoteric domain. Okay, and the second, why the religious moderation is important, like Professor Abdullah Al-Shihab present in the morning. In Indonesia, we have problem about the emergence of radical religious movement after the New Order or during of Reform era. The characteristic of radical religious movement include claim to absolute truth, the absolutely truth claim. I ever read the book written by I forgot, Charles Kimball, When Religions Become Evil. If I translate to Indonesia, kala agama jadi bencana. When religions become evil. One of the indicator religion become evil if there is the absolutely truth claim. And the radical religious movement, he want to change radically the political structure in Indonesia to establish the Islamic State. I know well because my research is about the Hizbut Tahrir in Indonesia. As we know that Hizbut Tahrir, before banned by the government, actually they have the main objective to establish, to change Indonesia to the Islamic State. Once again, it is the characteristic of the Islamic radical in Indonesia. Okay. It is the one of the plurality in Indonesia in term about the religion. Islam is 87%, almost the 90%. Protestantism is almost 8%. Roman Catholic, Hinduism, Buddhism, and folk, other Confucianism. But actually there is also Mormon in Indonesia, including in my town, in Malang, because I have been there to the church, small church in Malang. Maybe just one time I visit the Mormon church in Malang. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to the next section. Muhammadiyah as a representation of one of the moderate Islamic movement in Indonesia. It is just briefly description about the Muhammadiyah. Muhammadiyah was founded by Ahmad Dahlan. Actually, the original name is not Ahmad Dahlan. Muhammad Darwish is the birth name. The birth name is Muhammad Darwish. But after pilgriming to Mecca, he changed his name Ahmad Dahlan. Even I have been to Mecca, I have been referred to change my name. I'm still Syamsul Arifin. I don't change my name to Breakout, for example. Yeah, after pilgrim to Mecca. Yeah. So Muhammadiyah is 112 years old. You can imagine about the Muhammadiyah old. And the second one is Muhammadiyah activities are in the field of da'wah. In this term, I think we have this similarity mission, because like who's that? You, yes? Your name? Aim. You have been in Malaysia to conduct the missionaries as a Mormon, I think, during 2 years, I think. Yeah. Yes, okay. So Muhammadiyah actually has the same mission with the Mormon. Education, health. Besides the higher education, Muhammadiyah also have the lot of the hospital. Yeah, oh my God. Please don't give me the red card, okay.
So it'll take a few extra minutes.
Okay, yeah. How many?
Maybe 5.
5, thank you so much. You are very good. Culture and economic. Rather than in the field of particular politics. So Muhammad is not Islamic party, for example. Muhammadiyah is not a political party. Muhammadiyah is often referred to as civil society. Yeah, civil society. Okay, it is the visualization about the education sector, but I think too small. Okay, you can read it. Yeah, as I mentioned about the higher education, or not 172, but 176. Yeah, so we get the 4 additional number about the higher education in Muhammadiyah. It is, I think you remember the picture, Professor Brad is the Professor Muktiali, yeah. So Muhammadiyah also has high commitment to build the peace, yeah. Not only in Indonesia, but also in the South Asia, and also in the world. Okay, it is the visualization about the activities Muhammadiyah regarding the building of the peace. Now I'm going to Muhammadiyah moderation indicator, because I already mentioned that Muhammadiyah as representation of the Islamic moderate in Indonesia. Muhammadiyah's view the one of the indicator, Muhammadiyah's view in the that Pancasila is the basis of the state, and the 1945 constitution is final, according to Muhammadiyah. Muhammadiyah has no agenda to change it. And the second, Muhammadiyah social enterprise, for example, in the field of education, are open anymore from any group. For example, Muhammadiyah has universities in Eastern Indonesia, where Islam is not the majority, but many non-Muslim students study there. So, as I already mentioned, in Muhammadiyah there is the unique variant that is Christian Muhammadiyah, yeah, Christian Muhammadiyah. Maybe in the next time we have also the newest variation, Mormon Muhammadiyah. Maybe in the next time, yeah, Mormon, yeah. I'm not sure, yeah. Okay. Okay, now it is my last session. I want to share to you about our experience in organizing the master level course on sharing human rights as an instrument in strengthening religious moderation. Yeah, for more than 5, I think more than 10 years, I think, yeah. I want to revise this one. UMM has cooperated with the International Center for Law and Religious Studies, Brigham University, and the Oslo Coalition on Freedom on Religion or Belief at the Norwegian Center for Human Rights and Faculty of Law, University of Oslo, and to organize a master level course on Sharia and human rights, MLC. Okay, it is the curriculum, I think. Why we organized the master level course on sharing human rights? The background is MLC was driven by the existing view among the majority of Indonesia Muslim, including for the youth Muslim, that the idea of human rights originating from the Western historical experiences is secular and contradict Islamic values in teaching our Sharia. I think it's the one of the indicator that among Muslims there is the misunderstanding about human rights. So that the objective of the MLC is to develop knowledge and general understanding of human rights in history, philosophical foundation and principle, instrument and mechanism in both international and Indonesian context. The second objective is to understand Sharia in history, principle, legal profession, and the objective of Islamic law or maqasid al-Sharia. The third, to understand how human rights and Sharia intersect at theoretical and practical level through assessing and analyzing harmonies or conflict between the two or specific and often debate issues. It is the course topic about human rights, Sharia, and then intersection, and then contemporary issue on human rights in Indonesian context. Like I think we have a lot of current issue regarding intersection, human rights, and Sharia, for example, like the wearing of the evil, and about the pemurtatan itu, blasphemy.
Yeah, blasphemy.
Blasphemy, yeah, blasphemy, and the conversion, for example, to Islam, to non-Islam, or to non-Islam to Islam. I think it's one of the current issues in Indonesia. Okay, it is the often debate issue of Sharia and human rights. And also it is the one of the content during the MLC. It's about the Maqasid Sharia. I think it's a good philosophy according to Sharia, because actually Islam have the Maqasid of Sharia. Maqasid is the objective of Sharia. Why God reveals Sharia to Prophet, and we obey the Sharia because There is the five of the Makkah Sharia, the protection of religion, the protection of life, have the nafas, the protection of intellect, have the akal, the protection of the offspring, have the nasal, and the last is the protection of property, have mal. Okay. Okay, it is the same, okay, because the time is going last. And now I want to, it is the one of the output of the MLC. And the most important is, actually we have the book that describe about, we call it the significant change. The most significant change, MSC, the most significant change. After joining the MLC, all of students realized actually between Sharia and human right is not contradict. There is the dialogue, there is the intersection between Sharia and human, and actually Sharia is, we can create as the base of how to develop, to implement human rights as the universal concept in the world. I think enough, that's all, thank you, good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Syamsul. Appreciate your keeping that to length. I'd like to save some time for Q&A, and so I appreciate your saving some time for that. Our next speaker is Sikumbang Harniati. She is the Director of Human Rights Cooperation at the Ministry of Law and Human Rights in Indonesia. The Ministry of Law and Human Rights has been a recent partner with the center, working on a variety of projects and programs, including a conference last year in Jakarta and at Oxford University last year as well. And during that time, I have come to see Dr. Harniati as a very thoughtful and very knowledgeable expert on human rights and on Indonesia. So, Dr. Harniati, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Professor Scharffs. Good afternoon, everybody. Distinguished participant, dear participant, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me introduce myself. I am Harniati. Like Professor Brett mentioned, that I work for Ministry of Law and Human Rights of Indonesia, and I would like to say thank you for BWU committee who already invite me, particularly for Professor Scharffs, who we already met many times in Indonesia and here. And let me starting my presentation on human dignity as a common foundation for a collaborative multi-religious society in Indonesia. As mentioned before by Pak Syamsul, that Indonesia is a very diversity society. We have several religions, as mentioned before that, and most of us is Muslim, and the rest is Christian, Buddhist, and the others. But however, how to reach the tolerance among the society is a very critical issues in Indonesia. But we have a long story with the tolerance and multi-collaboration among us. And in Asia or ASEAN country, Indonesia is a unique country. Some of them say that Indonesia have can be said role models because of even in one family we have each member of family have one religion, but they are family. So maybe in the other country in ASEAN or in Asia, it's very hard to find this situation. So maybe I can mention you first is about the legal standing of the Indonesian Constitution that according to Indonesian Constitution, Article 29 that states allow citizens to practice the religion and establish a place for worship. And however, the law also provides limitation to prevent the misuse of religion for political purpose. I think I provide my.
You have a presentation?
Yes, Pak Matthew. I sent to Pak Matthew.
You sent, yeah, let me,
Yes.
can I steal this right here? See if, sorry. Do you know where the, so sorry, if you'll just give me 1 second. I'll
Close,
get
but
this
not
up.
quite
Yeah,
Indonesia.
we're almost there. If you give me just 1 minute, I can find it. Hey. Yeah, I just need to pull the presentation right now. Sorry about this, guys. Give me just 1 minute. Sorry, just 1 second. And you sent this in before?
Yeah, I sent to Pak Matthew.
Okay. This is room, is this 306 right here? This is 314.
314, yeah. Ah, that looks good.
Yes.
Is it this one right
Yeah,
here?
yes.
Okay. Maaf.
It's not easy to perform technology in public.
Here you go, just like right here.
That was pretty good, Abe.
Yeah, let me continue it. And if you refer to the Indonesian Constitution, that Article 29 mentioned that states uphold the citizen to practice the religion and establish place of worship. However, that law also provide a limitation to prevent the misuse of religion for political purpose. And under the law number 39 of 1999 concerning human rights, this law contains various human rights issues, including civil and political rights, as well as economic, social, and cultural rights. Oh my God. This one. And next is we are going to what Ministry of Law and Human Rights, especially for the Director General of Human Rights, do for the Indonesian human rights improvement. We have we call it prevention measurement. We have an Indonesian Human Rights Index. By this index, the people can see that how the Indonesian government, the result of the Indonesian government uphold the human rights for the society. And through the second is we can see through Minister of Law and Human Rights Regulation number 18 of 2024 concerning guideline for mainstreaming human rights in the formulation of legislation. So far, this year we just established this Minister of Law and Human Rights Regulation that we hope the human right can be input, can be a source of the regulation in Indonesia. And next we have a President Regulation number 53 of 2021 concerning National Action Plan on Human Rights. This President Regulation is the first phase of the National Action Plan on Human Rights. Why we have this regulation? Because Indonesian government, which protect the human rights, sometimes forgot something. So this regulation, how to accelerate human rights in the government program. So we have this regulation. And next we have also Minister of Law and Human Rights Regulation number 22 2021 concerning criteria for district cities that carrying of human rights. Through this regulation, we hope the government from state government to the regional government have such kind of program who care of human rights. And then you know that Indonesian consists of the 38 provinces and also 514 districts or cities. So each of the provinces and cities should fulfill of the criteria of cities of district that carrying of human rights. And then we also have a cooperation with the Professor Breakout through Lemena Institute. As I mentioned before, that we have a regulation, Minister of Law and Human Regulation, that guideline for mainstreaming human rights in the formulation of legislation. As you may know that in Indonesia we have a constitution, also the law under constitution. So we hope all of the regulation and regulation under the law have fulfilled the human rights issues. And then next, maybe I focus on the Indonesian National Action Plan for Human Rights. We call it RANHAM. In terms of the religious tolerance, we as mentioned by Alwi in the morning, that the increasing religious tolerance, we in Indonesia, we under Ministry of Law and Human Rights create RANHAM, how to fulfill the empty room to decrease the religious tolerance in Indonesia through the action plan for human rights. This RANHAM actually launched for the first time in 1998 when Indonesia passed through the economic crisis, and then until now we already have RANHAM for fifth phase, and next year will be a sixth phase. So that's why we are now undergoing to prepare for the next phase, for sixth phase of RANHAM. And as I mentioned before, that we have also 30 ministries, in the central government, and 38 actually this year, 38 provinces and 514 regencies cities in Indonesia. And I would like to continue with some action that, as mentioned in Ranham, main role of Ranham in supporting religious tolerance. Yeah, we have action we mentioned as increasing understanding and awareness of human rights and tolerance. So this action is compulsory for the government, central government, or also regional government in their program. So every year they have to make a report to the Ranham mechanism, and then the minister and president will give a statement or say something for the mechanism. And we also have action strengthening legal protection for religious minorities. We have action also, and the others is developing inclusive and equitable policies, and monitoring the evaluation of the implementation of And next, we also have action and encourage implementation of the regional and municipal level, and collaboration with civil society organizations and religious communities. So Indonesia is, can I mention that Indonesia is one of the country who make involvement the civil society and religious communities in their program. So this action also have to make report by the government, central government, and also regional government through Ranham mechanism. The next is we have criteria for district and cities that caring about human rights. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think we have also KKP-HAM. Yeah, we mentioned as a KKP-HAM, it's a criteria for district or cities that care about human rights. The KKP-HAM is objective is to monitoring the district and city regional government to implement, respect, protect, and advance human rights, and then creating synergy between regional and vertical agencies within framework of human rights, and then providing assessment. Next, I can mention that that KKP-HAM assessment refer to human rights aspect include the civil and political rights and economic, social, cultural rights. Maybe I can say that Indonesia already ratified the two main convention on human rights, ICCPR and ICICRs. And then for the right to diversity and pluralism under KKP-HAM, we make two requirement, administrative and substantive. For administrative, for KKP-HAM, each of the regional government or central government have to make upload of document that make a program, and also for the substantial, they have to cover the program right to diversity and pluralism. And the indicators, we can mention this regional legal product, and also regional planning and budgeting, and then regional government budget allocation, the integrated team for handling social conflict, reported case, analysis regional legal product, and then implementation of FKUB, Communication Forum for Religious Affairs, number of cases of discrimination public service that are follow up. So these criteria should be fulfilled by the regional or central government to be assessed by KKP team, and this is the result of the assessment, of the KKP HAM. 89.5% regencies or cities participate in 2022 to 2023 KPP HAM, reporting to 480 regency cities out of total 540 regency cities in Indonesia. I may mention that Indonesia have around 17,500 islands. So it's okay, 5 minutes, okay. So maybe I can jump to the next. And the last is we also have a function on handling alleged human rights violation, and the last one is human rights cooperation. We have a cooperation with the Professor Breakout through Lemena Institute. Last year we have a seminar in Jakarta, and also I am one of the teacher from that program. We come and we make a discussion with the church. This photograph mentioned in seminar in Surabaya is Java, and the last one is a very nice photograph. We can see the Pope France come to Indonesia this year, September, and between him and Bapak Nazaruddin as a Grand Imam of the Indonesian, the biggest mosque in Jakarta, Istiqlal Mosque. They are very love and care each other. I think Salah can mention about the Indonesian policy in human rights, and we have next policy. We are still have a cooperation with the Professor Breakout and Lemena Institute in order to formulate the Ranham Phase 6. Thank you very much.
Thank you for two really excellent presentations. I learned a lot from both of them. For many in our audience, we may be familiar with the fact that Indonesia has the largest Muslim population of any country on earth, and yet I think most of us are quite unfamiliar with the efforts going on in Indonesia with respect to human rights and the protection of human rights, and also trying to build bridges of understanding between Sharia and human rights. And so I think these two presentations were really valuable for us here in the West, and perhaps our students in particular, to understand a little bit more about just how unique and important Indonesia is within the Muslim world. One of the things we have been trying to do at our center is amplify Indonesian voices, because we think that not only within the Muslim world, but in the world at large, there isn't enough understanding of the remarkable things that are happening in Indonesia. So thanks to both of you for being here and for helping with our education. Let me start with a question for each of you, and then I'll open it to the floor. Syamsul, this morning, Minister Alwi Shihab mentioned that after the Suharto era, in the reform era, there was more religious freedom, but there was also more religious extremism and some radical religious movements. And you mentioned this also in your presentation. You referenced Alwi Shihab's observation this morning. And my question for you is, when the reform era begins, or when it began, it occurs to me that in addition to religious freedom, there was more need for religious responsibility. that exercising that freedom in responsible ways maybe wasn't an issue during the Suharto era, but then it became an issue in the Reform era. I'd like you to just tell me a little bit about how you think about that sort of relationship between rights and responsibilities. Well, then, why don't you answer that, and then I'll pose a question for Dr. Harniati as well. So you can just answer from there, Syamsul. That microphone should work.
Yes, hello. Thank you. I think it's a hard question for me. I would like to try to answer. I think, as Professor Alwishi have mentioned that in the morning, we have a lot of problem after Suharto fell down from his power. A lot of problem rise after Suharto. One of them is about the rise of the Islamic radicalism. At least there is I want to explain more about the Islamic radicalism after New Order. Yeah, there is two kind of the Islamic radicalism that rise in Indonesia after New Order. The first is transnational organization like as already mentioned, Hizbut Tahrir. Hizbut Tahrir, I know well because I conduct research for my dissertation when I was in doctor program in IAIN Surabaya. Why Hizbut Tahrir can mention as the Islamic radical? Because he want to establish, he want to change, he want to replace the Indonesian ideology based on the Pancasila with the Sharia, with the Islamic State. So it is the transnational Islamic radicalism because they came from another country. It is a part of the Ikhwan al-Muslimin. But beside the transnational Islamic radicalism, also there is the homegrown Islamic radicalism, like the FPI. What is the English FPI? Islamic Defense Front. Yeah, Islamic Defense Front. Yeah, FPI, Front Pembebasan Islam. It is the homegrown Islamic radicalism. Why? It is like the easy to write. Maybe because if I want to answer from the theoretical perspective here, because after New Order, before that, I want to explain about why Suharto can hold his power beyond 20 years. Because Suharto has to, in the social science call it, state apparatus. Yeah, state apparatus. There is two state apparatus. The first is the ideological state apparatus, and the second one is the repressive state apparatus. The repressive state apparatus represented by the military. The military is very dominant at the time. And about the ideological state apparatus, represented by the education. Education used by the Suharto to make the hegemony. His power, for example, he always disseminates Pancasila, his socialist Pancasila as the instrument of the ideology. But after Suharto fell down, both of the state apparatus is not effective. So the condition used by the among Muslims to establish their organization, their ideology that we can mention is the Islamic radicalism. It is the answer why the Islamic radicalism is rise after New Suharto fell down. And about the issue of freedom religious, I think there is some keys in Indonesia. For example, like I want to maybe briefly. There is the for example like the worship place here. In the some place, the minority if want to establish the place worship, a lot of people refuse for the minority group to build their worship place. I think is the part of that indicator that if the Indonesian after Suharto fell down, there is the case about the human rights issues, because actually the expression of the freedom religious is the part of the human rights implementation. But at the time, I think a lot of case in the some place that the minority group when they want to build the worship place, some people refuse, some people don't know to give the permit to build the worship place. So that's why, according to me, as my presentation, that education is the effective media, the effective forum to improve, to increase the good understanding about human rights, especially in the freedom of religious. So like my experience when we implement, organize about the master level course between the Sharia and human rights, some participant has the good understanding that actually human rights, especially in the freedom of religion and belief, actually is universal. I think yes.
Okay, thank you, Syamsul, for that explanation. Madam Harniati, just as we finish today, you mentioned the role of Indonesia within ASEAN and the prospect of Indonesia as a role model within ASEAN. Could you develop that thought a little bit for our audience, for our students? Because I think that's a really important suggestion, and I want to make sure that everyone has sort of thought about it.
Yeah, thank you for that. As I mentioned before, that Indonesia is as a country, as a role model for the ASEAN, especially in upholding human rights issues in its country. Why? Because of as my experience in my office, that a lot of the countries around Indonesia, around ASEAN, came to my office asking how to make a Ranham, how to formulate Ranham, how to calculate criteria on KKPHAM, district or cities who carrying on human rights. That this program they don't have even its country. So and also when we talking about the human rights in ASEAN level, most of the experience, the practice of protection of human rights always come from Indonesia aspects. So that's why I'm referring say that the Indonesian experience can be make a good example for the others country in ASEAN level. And the last event that I attend in the UN Bangkok regional Bangkok, it's we we talk about the business and human rights. And in ASEAN level, Indonesia is the third country who already have such kind of regulation on business and human rights. And most of the country they want to imitate the Indonesian measurement. So that's why I think what Indonesia do on the protection of religious freedom and tolerance can be a good models for the other country in ASEAN level. Even in Asia, most of the Asia country came to my office and asking how to Indonesia to make involvement between government and civil society, getting better, getting good cooperation, because most of the country didn't have such kind of regulation of the concrete experiment on that issue. So that's why I think this is the real example why Indonesia is a role model in ASEAN and ASEAN country.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting and important. It may be a lot easier for those countries to turn to Indonesia for advice and guidance than to turn to a Western country
Yes.
where it's going to maybe have a little bit more of an allergic reaction.
Yes.
So that, I think, is really useful. I learned something really new today, Madam Harniati, about the 10 indicators and the report card.
Yes.
And I hope everyone noticed how the report card worked. It began with starting to protect human rights. Then there was adequate care of human rights. And then there was care of human rights.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a failing grade, it was a starting grade. And I thought that was really lovely. Did I understand that correctly? That
Yeah,
was,
I
that
understood.
was really interesting.
Yeah. So that's why most of the ASEAN country come to my office. How the Indonesian staff can formulate, can make such kind of detailed requirement. We have, for the right to diversity and pluralism, we have 10 indicators. So because of I involved on the regulation formulation regulation at the first step at the first place. So I can understand that I mentioned that we have three indicators, main three indicators. The first is structure. Structure is legal standing on each central government or in regional government. So it means that every central government or every regional government has to legal standard for legal standing on that, making that